And when it started to confirm that this was indeed the top with an elevated death candle, I took the exact same mirror trade, shorting under VWAP, would stop out if this candle reclaimed, and instead made back the losses plus more, and today yielded to about a $3,200 day. So INVO looks like a stock that every time it pushes up, it fails. 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 So kind of made its first initial move about 3 days ago. And since then, it's kind of just been grinding and holding. And today it had a pretty nice gap up, right? So this is a gap up short for me. So as you can see, pre-market, gapped up, tried to fail, and ended up trapping traders and rebounding up. So on something like this, it doesn't really make sense for me to make any type of resistance lines other than the pre-market highs, right? That's kind of the main resistance area that I'm watching. So what I do on stocks like this is I'm pretty much waiting for like a death candle signal. I'm waiting for a signal to tell me, you know what, the move is already done and it's time to short on the backside of the move. So for example, I'm going to show you how I traded it. So first things first is I saw a little bit of a top forming here around the 235 area. Tried to push, fail, tried to push, fail, tried to push, fail, tried to push, fail. So after nearly 4 times of trying to push and fail around this 234 or 235 area, we finally had a rejection candle. You can see that this rejection candle here was on elevated volume. It was nearly the biggest volume candle of the day, this candle. But I wanted to see some follow through first to be able to get short, right? I wanted to see it confirm. So this is what I call a little bit of blood in the water. Imagine the sharks are circling when they see blood and then they're gonna attack. So this is the blood in the water that I'm looking for. An elevated volume rejection candle. Now, when we saw again, another elevated volume rejection candle under VWAP, I told myself, all right, the stock is topped out and I'm going to be shorting the bounce. So I took some starters here around 220 with the plan to add if VWAP was failing, right? So what I was looking for is I was looking for this thing to death candle, which it did, and then try to bounce and fail that bounce and make its way right back down, right? What ended up happening is it ended up grinding up and grinding up and grinding up and reclaiming. Now, what I tell myself is this a trade that I would have taken again? And to me, until it reclaims the death candle, the rejection candle here, right? So I'll just kind of draw a line here. Until it reclaims this candle, my thesis is still valid, right? My thesis of the stock being broken is still valid. It's still going to chop around. It's still going to move around. But my overall thought process was so long as this candle does not reclaim here, then I'm going to stick with the trade. So I took a starter short, added when the VWAP failed, and it looked like it was failing in it, and I added. So I ended up with about like a 222, 223 average at this point, right? So I was like, okay, this is now starting to grind up. This is kind of looking a little bit sketchy. If it breaks this high today, I gotta stop out. So that's exactly what I did. So I took my loss here, right? I took my loss here as it was negating my trade thesis. My trade thesis was this death candle is not gonna rebound. My trade thesis was VWAP was gonna fail and it was gonna melt down. So I was wrong, so I cut off my trade. And then when the stock pushed up, I noticed that pre-market high of the day was acting as resistance. There was a brick wall of sellers here. And normally when a stock breaks above high of the day, you know it's supposed to push up, trap the shorts, and go higher. But in this case, I guess because it was pre-market high of the day, there was a lot of sellers that showed up. So immediately I added back my short. So this is totally okay, guys. It is totally okay to stop out of a stock and re-short it if you see a signal. So stopped out of the stock, re-shorted the stock when I saw it fail pre-market high of the day and saw it fail with a bunch of sellers. Re-shorted the stock for about a penny higher. And then again, the same death candle that we're seeing from before is now an even more elevated volume, So this tells me that this is freaking dead. So if you look at the stock, the exact same trade that I took here, right? Death candle and shorting the bounce is the exact same trade I took here. Death candle and shorting the bounce. So although this trade didn't end up working out perfectly, right? I stopped out for a manageable loss and ended up re-shorting it. Now, when it breaks under VWAP with elevated volume, I am doing the same thing again. I am mirroring this exact same trade. I'm shorting the bounces, expecting a VWAP rejection. And then you draw support here around this 212 area. As soon as it breaks support, that's the money right there. So to me, I not only made back the loss, I made back the loss plus more with the exact same mirror of a trade. I didn't expect it to go straight up like this, right? But I mitigated my loss. And when it started to confirm that this was indeed the top with an elevated death candle, I took the exact same mirror trade, shorting under VWAP, would stop out if this candle reclaimed, and instead made back the losses plus more. And today yielded to, let me show you guys my trade, yielded to about a $3,200 day. So I can't really complain here. Really solid trading, really solid day. I am very happy about this trade because this was a losing trade that I ended up making back way more than I lost by just doing the exact same trade when it confirmed. So really happy about this trade. Really like this trade. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you guys like these type of videos, if you guys are enjoying this type of content, please leave a like, please subscribe to the channel, and please let me know if you want to see more of these videos. Thanks, guys.